Ya, bah.
Dr. Yoka pun ada dah.
Tu lah.
Tak nak, Abi tak nak. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Integrated ASEAN-OSHNET Program 2022. We will begin our course shortly at 10 a.m. Malaysia time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning to everyone. Welcome back to the Integrated ASEAN-OSHNET Program 2022 organized by DOSH Malaysia. Now we will begin our second day of the training session. So just to inform to the fellow participants that there might be some changes in the schedule with regard to the presentation from ASEAN member states. There are some countries told me that they are unable to give their presentation today. So I will rearrange the schedule and then we will see how it goes after that. Okay, without further ado, I would like to invite our first speaker of today, Dr. Yuka Ujita from ILO, to present her presentation on ILO Convention CO187. The floor is yours, Doctor.
Thank you very much. Good morning, all. First of all, congratulations to organize this 2 days training and presentation and the sharing information. And also, I'd like to express our gratitude to the organizer and ASEAN-OSHNET Secretariat to invite the ILO to share our approach and also our experience, our developments, and our tools. Thank you very much. And today I'm so excited to be here, not only to share our experience with you, but also I like to learn from you, because the National OSH program is the ILO's key tool to develop the National OSH system. And I'm covering the ASEAN countries, also the other East and Southeast Asia and the Pacific countries, and they're working with them on the development of national OSH programs. So I really looking forward to discussing with you on the development and the future plan, how to we can upgrade the national OSH program. So let me share my screen. Okay, and now is the presentation mode, I think. Okay, by the way, the volume of my voice is okay or too small? Would it be okay? Okay, great. Thank you very much. So maybe some of you already received my presentation because I made the similar presentation many times, but please allow me to repeat this presentation. So first of all, I like to start from our recent big development in the ILO regarding the OSH, because as you may know, the ILO has the fundamental principles and rights at work. It was adopted by member states, including the ASEAN member states, in 1998. And originally, there are 4 fundamental principles. That would be a freedom of association and rights to collective bargaining, elimination of forced labor, elimination of child labor, and elimination of discrimination at work. And then, June this year, our member states adopted the amendment of the ILO Declaration, and now a safe and healthy working environment was added as a 5th pillar of the fundamental principles and rights at work. And what is the implication of this newly added fundamental principle? Now, all workers in irrespective gender, age, migrant status, whatever, all workers in all workplaces should be, their rights at work should be respected by all means. And it entails some, strengthen or the increased responsibility and the obligation for all member states. And one of the major issue is now our 2 core convention on OSH in the area of OSH, 155 and 187, were added to the fundamental conventions in the area of OSH. And as you know, the ILO has many, almost 190 international conventions. It's the legally binding to all member states. And of those, almost 40 of conventions are directly or indirectly related to OSH. And our core convention is 155, Occupational Safety and Health, and 187, Promotional Framework on OSH. Plus, we have the specific convention on occupational health services, is more occupational health aspect, that is 161. And other than these 3, we have the other sectoral specific or the specific addressing the specific hazards, like something like the asbestos conventions, chemical conventions, right, or the occupational cancer convention. And for regarding the sectoral convention, we have the OSH in agriculture convention, OSH in mining convention, or construction conventions. But now, these 2, 155 and 187, are fundamental. What does this mean? Now is the member states should prioritize the ratification, but not ratification itself. Application of these 2 conventions should be priority of the all member states. And for the ASEAN countries, many countries already ratified, mainly 187, and some countries ratified both 155 and 187. But even though you ratify these conventions, it's not enough. Now we need to more focus on how we can apply these 2 conventions in your national OSH activities, right? And why these 2 conventions are important? Because these 2 provide the general principle of OSH, and that's applied to all workers in all branches, And these conventions focus on the systems approach to the management of OSH. I will talk a little more about the systems approach in a couple of minutes. And these two conventions have some principles. That is prevention. OSH is prevention, 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 prevention-based approach. And also these two conventions suggest the member states the progressive realization. It's not jumping high, but we have to continuously improve the OSH system and OSH activities. And also the social dialogue among the tripartite partners. And in terms of OSH, it's not only the government, employers, and workers, but also we have to engage other ministries, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, or some sector construction, or the transport, all the stakeholders, not only government, but also NGOs, and also the academia, private service on OSH. We have to engage everyone, all the stakeholders, all players. That is the social dialogue and consultations. And this, especially for the 155, define the rights, duties, and responsibilities of all players, government, employers, and workers. Other than these conventions, ILO has the global strategy on OSH. It was adopted in 2003. And this strategy has two main pillars: preventative safety and health culture, and the systems approach to OSH. It's exactly the same concept, same principle to the two convention 155 and 187. In fact, the 187 was developed based on this global strategy. And just for your information, after the adoption of the OSH as fundamental principle and right at work, the now governing body, ILO governing body, suggested, recommended the ILO, us, to review and update this global strategy. And currently, we, the specialists on OSH, and other specialists, all the area in the ILO is working on reviewing and updating the global strategy. It will be further discussed at the next governing body in March 2023, and perhaps will be further discussed at the international conference. Okay, then what is the systems approach? What is the management systems approach? That is the simply PDCA cycle. PDCA cycle is very famous for the management system. You are very familiar with, especially I know that Malaysia is the champion of the OSH management system. And the Plan, Do, Check, Act is the continuous improvement of anything. And in our case, that is the national OSH system. And when we apply this PDCA cycle, continuous improvement of national OSH system, the ILO proposed the systems approach on OSH. That would be the 187, exactly 187. And these are the elements of the systems approach at the national level. We have the same structure, the very similar structure at the enterprise level, but let's talk start from the national level. The first, all country has more or less national OSH system. National OSH system consists of the many elements. The first of all, OSH registration, and of course, the compliance and enforcement mechanism of this legislation through the inspection service. And also at the many countries already have or require to have National Tripartite Advisory Body on OSH. This advisory body can be a part of National Tripartite Advisory Body or independent autonomous such body on OSH, right? And also OSH should be based on the data. We need a scientific evidence-based approach. So we need a good data collection, analysis, and the dissemination mechanism. And also OSH service network. It includes not only public service, but also the private service, and OSH training or the education through the vocational training or the workplace training, or maybe we can start the education from the school, right? And lastly, but not at least, arrangement for the social dialogue and the cooperation at the workplace. In terms of OSH, without the cooperation between management and the workers, anything can happen. And for the effective, practical OSH measure, we cannot ignore the social dialogue just from the conversation or the cooperation, joint work among between the management and the workers. Okay, these are the national OSH system. Then you will have national OSH policy. It was defined specifically by 155, Convention 155, and also Convention 187 require the member states to have the national OSH policy. And the national OSH policy provides a framework for the national level action. In other words, national OSH policy is the goal, what OSH system you want to achieve, or the commitment of the member states. What are the ideal OSH system in your country? That is the OSH policy. And it should be based on the specific national conditions and practice, of course, and it should be coherent with other national policies, for example, the employment policy or the other development policy, right? And it should be result-based. It's not the action-based, it's the result-based. What will be the outcome? What will be the impact? What will be the goal? And focused on the progressive improvement, right? So you have the national system and you have the goal, you have the commitment, that is the policy. But usually between the current OSH system and your goal, your objective, there are gaps. And what are the gaps? How you can identify the gaps? That will be national OSH profile. National OSH profile is the summary of OSH station, is the inventory list of the OSH information. That consists of the data and the statistics, OSH accident, injury, fatal, non-fatal injuries, and the work-related disease. Data is important. But not only data, it should be the summary of national system, what kind of OSH law, OSH related law and regulation or policy you have, who will play what, how many human resources on OSH you have, what kind of programs you are carrying out, right? What kind of training system, education system you have, and who will do what kind of service on OSH. That is the summary of national OSH system. And it should be the profile can be used as the tool. And also profile will become the benchmark of the progress through the national OSH program, right? So this is the profile. So profile is the base, database, and information base. And based on the profile, you can identify the gap between the OSH system and policy. So you have to fill the gap. How? Through the national OSH programs. That is exactly the theme of today's workshop. And the national OSH program is the medium-term strategic programs and usually time-bound, right? Many cases, 5 years programs or the 3 years, sometimes 10 years program. By the way, you can, the ILO's terminology, we call it National OSH Program. But in fact, in practice, country call this program is other terminology. Some countries say the strategy. Some country call it the master plan or the action plan, right? And the important thing is it should include the targets and the indicator of progress and clearly set out the priorities. And also, the purpose of the program is the continual improvement. So the program cannot be just the ad hoc, the one time. Program it will be, for example, the 5 years program. Once you finish the 5 years program, you have to going to the next program. It should be continuous activities. And what is the difference between the ministerial, for example, the Ministry of Labor Action Plan and National OSH Program? What is the difference? That will be the National OSH Program should be endorsed by highest national authority. So many cases is endorsed by the government, the cabinet government, or parliament, or and not by the ministry level, because we have to engage all ministries, all stakeholders. That's why we have to engage, it will be endorsed by the highest level. So these are the elements. Now, more, diagram. What is the flow of the PDCA cycle? So the first, you have the national system, and you have the policy. And to fill the gap between these two elements, you have to have the profile, the gathering data and information. Based on data information, you will develop programs, what you can do or what you want to do, and then implement the programs, then evaluate the achievement, or if you cannot achieve, cannot take action, what are the obstacles, what are the difficulties, and then you will develop the next national OSH profile 5 years later, and then the second OSH profile provide the information for the second national OSH programs. So these are the continuous cycle, PDCA cycle at the national level. And as I said, at the enterprise level, this is exactly the same. And we can call it that OSH management system at the enterprise or workplace level. Each enterprise should have the workplace OSH policy. And to achieve the policy, based on the risk assessment exercise in workplace, the enterprise should have the plan or the programs on OSH, implement the OSH activities and evaluation audit, and then again, and also they should collect the data on OSH, and then they should have another action. That is the OSH management system at the workplace. So this is exactly same national and enterprise level. So let me now share some example national OSH program in Asia, but other than the ASEAN country. Recently, Mongolia developed the 6th national OSH strategy. That is the national OSH program. And the ILO assisted the development of these 6 national strategy. And through this process, Mongolia updated the national OSH profile, and based on the profile, they developed this strategy. And they have the 5 strategic objective is very, very complete. It's the registration, cooperation, inspection, the compliance and enforcement, and OSH management system at the enterprise level, and lastly, education and research. It's very clear. And I know, as long as I know, many countries have the similar priorities: registration, enforcement, management system, and education, or the training, or the capacity enhancement at the enterprise level. What about Singapore? Today, I didn't see the Singapore in the speaker, so that's why I just want to share the information. Singapore is the long-term programs, and they call it the vision. The WSH. It's the Workplace Safety and Health 2028. It's not very long. It's very short, concise, condensed strategy. And vision is the healthy workplace. And the 4 very focused the strategic outcome is the reduction of injury rates. It's the very concrete indicator. And minimize hazards. And that means the reduction of the occupational disease and the good health, the health promotion at work. And finally, they focus on the vision zero culture. That is the zero accident culture. Yeah, it's very complete and maybe measurable indicator, measurable outcome. What about Japan? Japan is you see, this is the now 13th OSH program. It's very, very long history. And now they are working on the 14 programs. And already it was integrated in the national agenda. And always they announce the OSH programs to the all entire nation. And they publish the evaluation report, including the data every 5 years, right? And their goals is also very complete with the number 15% reduction of fatality, 5% reduction of casualty. And they have the sector-specific goals like construction, fishing, especially for the high-risk sector. They have the very specific goal in each sector, industrial activities. And also they have pay special attention to mental health. And they have the very concrete strategy and action tools for the stress check, stress at work check and management, and chemical safety, back pain, and heat stroke. Because still in Japan, many people die from heat stroke. This morning, I saw the news, TV news from Japan, and they will strengthen the strategy against heat stroke, because they did a lot on this heat stroke, but still many people die at work and outside work. And also the mental health is the big problem. You heard about the karoshi, is the suicide from the stress at work. So they pay special attention. And also they have the very concrete system to evaluate and review the problem. So you see, these for example, is the just example to share with you. And we will have the presentation, the following my presentation from the ASEAN member states. regarding the development of National OSH program. Currently, the ILO is working with the some of the member states, like Cambodia. Cambodia is now developing, and the almost 60%, 70% is already developed the third master plan. And also very recently, Lao PDR, they finalized the third national OSH programs with the assistance from the ILO. And the Thailand is now working on the third national OSH programs. So the many countries are still, and also Indonesia. Indonesia is now working on the third national OSH programs, and the ILO would be happy to assist the facilitate the process. But you see there are many patterns, many different priorities, and different format, different procedure. But this is my final slide. Through our experience, dialogue experience, we identified a couple of keys to successful, effective, and sustainable national OSH program. I listed 5 keys. The first one is that the very concrete, very clear priority setting on the basis of the OSH data and information. That should be the national OSH profile. So always we suggest the member states that the OSH program should be in combination with the profile. And you need not to spend so much time, resource, money, or the human resources on profile. Profile is just the collection of information. And once you develop the profile, then you can just update. No need to start from the scratch. Yeah. So I always encourage you to start from the profile, update your information. And based on the updated information, you can easily identify the priority. And engagement of social partners and key stakeholders. We face many difficulties, even though the member states has the excellent, very nice, very good programs. They have some difficulties in implementation because it's very difficult to engage or to get support from other ministry or the other organization. So the important point is engage these other actors from the beginning, from the very initial stage. Listen to them and try to combine, try to integrate their approach and their OSH approach, right? And resource mobilization. Implementation of the programs needs some money, some not only money, but resource, human resource, and also funds. So when you develop the national OSH programs and the concrete action plan, maybe also you need to attach very feasible, realistic resource mobilization, resource allocation, right? And the coherency with other development strategies and plans. Now, the Philippines is developing the updated employment policy, and the ILO suggested the government of Philippines to integrate OSH programs into that employment programs and policy. Then it is more coherent approach and more effective, more sustainable achievement, right? And finally, always we have to monitor and lastly evaluate the progress and achievement of the OSH program. And then we will hand over going to the next OSH programs. So these 5 keys I would like to share with you. And this is my last slide. Thank you very much for your attention. And ILO is very happy to provide any assistance, and we are ready to provide the technical and sometimes the financial assistance to member states to develop national OSH programs, because this is the key, this is the fundamental pillar of the Convention 155 and 187. Especially for the 187, without the program, you cannot ratify this convention. So thank you very much. I looking forward to the further discussion with you. Thank you. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Yuka, for your presentation. And I believe that that's a comprehensive presentation, gives some insight to the participant about the ILO approach to the development of national program and also the ratification of ILO Convention C187. Now I would like to open the floor for any questions. You can type your questions in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and I will point to you after that. This session is open. A participant from Malaysia also can ask question if you want.
I have a question.
Okay, Dr. Rafi.
Yeah,
Please go ahead.
Yuka, thank you very much for your valuable presentation just now. Talking about the OSH policy, that is something to do with C155, right?
Yes.
I think the most difficult part in having the national safety policy is the evaluation part. All right, throughout the nation. So is there any suggestions to come out with some specific indicators that we can measure until the remote area, you know, because the national policy is for everybody, right? It's for any workplaces. So it doesn't mean that it's only for multinational company. It is not only meant for the SME. It is, you know, it's for all. And it is applicable to any type of working environment. So with that national policy strategies, is there any suggestions to look at some of the a good indicator or reliable indicator to measure that? Thank you very much.
Yes. Can I answer now?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the very important question. In fact, the policy regarding the national OSH policy, yes, the 155 provides the periodical review of the national policy, but 155 does not require the evaluation of the policy. So policy is not time bound. And if the situation is changed, or you have the very emerging something happening in the area of OSH, you have to review and update the policy, but the policy is not time bound. And I don't think that many other countries do the evaluation of the policy itself. The program is that they need the evaluation, and we have a lot of indicators, but the policy is not. And in fact, many countries in practice, when I work with the norms to review the report from the member states regarding 155 or the 187, many countries says our national OSH policy is OSH Act. Japan, Korea, and other countries said the OSH policy is not a separate document, but they said the legislation itself is their policy. So of course you will review your OSH law, OSH Act. So that means the policy review, but I don't think the evaluation is required at least by 155. But for other countries, they have the separate document of national OSH policy. Recently, I work for this Fiji. They developed a very comprehensive national OSH policy. That is the separate document. Also, some countries, as the 2 pages, just very concise policy on OSH or some countries 30 pages, 40 pages, comprehensive policy. So you have the choice. You can say the OSH Act or the separate short statement, statement or something, or the comprehensive policy. It's up to you. Back to you, Jeff.
Right. Thank you, Doctor, for your response. Any other questions? Okay, if there's no more additional question, I once again thanks
Thank you.
Dr. Yuka Ujita for your presentation. Now, okay, there's one question from the chat box. I'm sorry, Dr. Yuka. I hope that you can answer this question from our colleague from Brunei. Will ILO provide an assistance to ASEAN member states to assist on development of OSH policy and rectify some ILO convention?
Yes, that we are doing. Especially now, the 155, 187 are the fundamental principle. In fact, the ILO was required by the ILC to allocate some specific resource for the member states to facilitate ratification and application. And in fact, I myself provide some technical assistance with the financial assistance to some ASEAN countries. That's concretely regarding the ratification process. We will start from the comparative analysis between your legal and the policy framework and the 155 or 187. We compare the two framework and identify the gap and fill the gap. So that process is already carried out for several countries, like Cambodia we did recently, and the Lao PDL we will be starting soon. And also we have another request from Thailand and some other countries in the Asia and the Pacific. Back to you.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Yuka, again for the response. So, any other question from fellow participants? If there is no more questions, so once again, thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Yuka. Okay, so now we will take about 10 minutes break. Now it's 10:40 Malaysia time, so we will begin with the second session at 10:50 Malaysia time. All right, thank you and see you again. Welcome back, everyone. Now we will begin our second session of today's training. So from this session, okay, after I gather the feedback from our delegates from other ASEAN member states, there will be, I think, 4 or 5 presentations from the ASEAN member states. So we will begin with Indonesia, and then followed by Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, and finally Thailand. After that, we will take a short break, and then we will we will hear some comments from ASEAN Secretariat with regard of the development of National OSH profile among the AMS, and then we will have a closing remark afterwards. Okay, without further ado, I would like to invite representative from Indonesia, Mr. Sudi Astono, to give his presentation on the National OSH profile from Indonesia. Okay, Mr. Sudi Astono, are you ready to start your presentation? Maybe Mr. Sudi Astono is getting ready. Never mind, we can move to our second presenter first, and then we return back to presentation from Indonesia. So our second presenter will be from Malaysia, Dr. Muhammad Rafi. Doctor, are you ready to give your presentation?
Yeah, ready.
Okay. All right. So without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Muhammad Rafi Bahrudin to give his presentation on National OSH profile from Malaysia.
Boleh nampak slide tak?
Okay, clear.
Right. Okay. Assalamualaikum and very good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairperson and distinguished delegates from the ASEAN country, and not to forget the Integrated ASEAN-OSHNET Program participants 2022. So I'm Muhammad Rafi Bahrudin. I'm going to present the summary of National Occupational Safety and Health profile for Malaysia 2017 up to 2021. Now, as an overview for my presentation, so this National OSH profile is actually meeting the requirements of the promotional framework for the Occupational Safety and Health Convention 2006. That is what we call C187. And one of the things that we would like to highlight here is by having this National OSH profile database, we are going to plan some of the OSH programs for future OSH programs significantly that we hope can reduce the occupational fatality rates to 2.93 per 100,000 workers, reduce occupational accidents to 2.13 per 1,000 workers, and raise awareness of notification and reporting of occupational poisoning and diseases by 30% by the year of 2025. And of course, one of the good things that we would like to have is to attract more local and foreign investors to invest in various economic sectors without doubt. Now, I'm going to present a summary based on the 14 elements that we analyzed. So what we did was we analyzed the 14 elements with current situation, and then we move on to the expected situation that we hope to be And then based on that, we identify the gap and we propose some good improvement for further considerations by the government. Now, the first one, based on the framework, is the regulatory framework. And what we have right now, we are probably, presenting our new amendment of law 2022, and it was already passed by the Dewan Rakyat recently. And why we have this is because we need to look at other sectors that is not being covered previously. So by having this new amendment act, we hope that every work sectors are being covered. Now, the second one is the national OSH policy, as what Dr. Yuda mentioned just now. It is very important for every country to have their own policy and standard setting for the OSH programs. And Malaysia, we have already signed national OSH policy by our previous Prime Minister way back 15 January 2019. And subsequently, we have fulfilled the C187 notifications. And we are actually looking forward to look on the, any systematic tools to measure some of the implementation effectiveness throughout the nation. The third one is actually the OSH program coordination and cooperation mechanism. Currently, we are using the or applying the tripartite method led by the National Council of Occupational Safety and Health, and we have those, other government agencies, National Labour Advisory Council, statutory bodies, employers union, workers union, higher education providers, and also NGOs that be part of the National Council's members. And as what we know, the National Council are looking forward into setting some of the OSH programs at national level. And we are actually looking forward to have some cooperations with the informal sectors, such as the P-hailing and the e-hailing. And everybody are well aware that these informal sectors are widely being used during the pandemics. And until today, we have, quite numbers of these workforce. The fourth element is the development of OSH standards, guidelines, and management system. In short, we call it OSH-MS. I think we are in line with other countries, so we are focusing on the ISO. We have our own Malaysian standard ISO 45001, 2018. And based on this data, based on this situation, we are actually looking forward to look at the workplace or organization awareness and readiness towards having the management systems. And of course, if they are keen to have certification as well in the future. The fifth element is on the OSH implementation systems, means and tools. Currently, we are actually based on OSH vision and missions. That is the focusing on the preparation of standards. That includes policies, regulations, code of practice. Second is the enforcement, approval and authorization, registration, certification, inspection, and legal action. And the third one is the promotions. What we are actually looking at now is to look into a comparison between the government agencies and the private sectors. So we would like to have an equal standardized implementation systems, means and tools to all workplaces in Malaysia. Number 6 is the current OSH promotions. We are actually engaging with many organizations. We do talks, safety talks, exhibitions, campaigns, and expert services and consultations, which we hope that can increase the level of awareness of every employees. And what we what we need to look forward after this is to look at the level of workplace commitment and their continuous support across sectors. So if you look at my presentation, I have pulled some of the keywords, right, based on the profiling that we have. So these are the things that we are going to move forward later on. Now, the 7 elements is on the education, training, and awareness programs. So these are actually covers the competency and non-competency based approach. And it also involves the higher education provider at the tertiary levels. And to let the audience in the conference knows, we in Malaysia, we have, diploma level, post-diploma level, first degree level, master's level, and even PhD levels in OSH, in OSH management, in specific hazards and risk. And we are actually looking further to look at the contributions and involvement from NGOs and practitioners. Yeah, NGOs and practitioners. Summary number 8, the emergency plan, emergency preparedness. So currently we have CIMA regulation, Control of Industrial Major Accident Hazard Regulation, 1996. It is also considered to be part of our responsibility under the Fire Service Act 1988 and the MKN Directive 20 Article 10 preparedness measures. So in Malaysia, currently we have different settings of emergency preparedness, whereby the industries need to know which they need to actually follow and go whatever training is related to the emergency preparedness planning. What we are looking forward is that to look at the specific mechanisms of ERP reporting in the workplaces across all sectors, and also to consider if there is any consideration need to be given to the people who are actually working from home if they are facing any emergency situation. So we're supposed to provide them some guidance to look at. Number 9 is the national OSH statistics. Currently, we have leading and lagging indicators using the forms that we use reported to DOSH, and of course the vital statistics of enforcement activities, as well as the notifications of accident, dangerous occurrence, occupational poisoning, and occupational diseases statistics. Again, there are some room for further improvement. That we are highlighting here is to actively asking the industries or workplaces to active participation in reporting the OSH data to the authorities. Number 10 are OSH practitioners and competencies. So the current situation, we have an online MyKKP, we call it, in Malaysia registration system. So this is the system is being used for new registration, renewal, and review purposes. So we are also looking into improvement in terms of system security and stability. Of course, in the next future, there are many other apps that are artificial intelligence to be fit in compromising the OSH practitioners and competencies levels. Number 11 is the government, employer, and employee relations, the tripartite. As I mentioned just now, that we have NCOSH, and it was mentioned in the law that the tripartite body should have the membership of not less than 12% and not more than 15 people in accordance to the provisions of the law. So what we are looking forward is to look at some of the evaluation effectiveness towards the program by the NCOSH. Number 12 is the international collaborations. You can see here there are many collaborations Malaysia did with ILO, UN, JICA, GSHA, and many others. And we are actually trying our best to get into the sustainability of OSH operations and opportunities at international level. And you know, sometimes we are, there are situations that we miss out certain valuable or important information. So we look forward to have some kind of sustainability progresses in this international collaboration. 13 is the OSH-related national activities. From 2016 to 2020, we have OSH Master Plan 20 that focus on 5 implementation strategies. That is government leadership, empowerment, the management of OSH in the workplace, OSH sharing and networking, industrial hygiene funding, OSH strategic agreement at national level. So with the new approach of OSH MP25, we are improving on the coverage of strategies, programs, and activities. So there are more and more strategies, programs, and activities will be carried out to ensure the preventive OSH safety culture is being adapted in any workplaces in Malaysia. And last but not least, the 14th element is accident and occupational diseases reporting mechanism. So as mentioned earlier, we are using the MyKKP online systems, and we hope that we are going to increase more and more people, more and more workforce to have a high level of awareness in terms of active participation to notify the things that they should or they shall notify to the authorities. Now, the top 3 OSH programs that I would like to share from the Malaysian National OSH Profile is, the first one is the Prime Minister has launched the Occupational Safety and Health Master Plan 2021 to 2025. So these are actually having 7 strategies. The first strategy is empowering OSH in public sector, and the second strategy is reinforcing self-regulation practices at workplace. Strategy number 3 is promoting OSH education and research. Strategy number 4 is empowering occupational health. Strategy number 5 is enhancing OSH compliance is SME sectors. Strategy number 6 is enhancing OSH through technology. And strategy number 7 is strengthening OSH in work-related road safety, informal sectors, and future jobs. And the second one is, as I mentioned to you earlier, that the amendment of the Act OSHA 1994. So we have Act Amendment 1684 that focuses on the more responsibilities to the employers and as well as the employees, and greater protection for the employees as well. And these are actually also covered more regulations on machineries. And one of the main thing that I think is important for us to know is that the workers have their rights to not doing any high-risk activities with certain conditions. And last but not least, the promotions of OSH through NGOs and practitioners. So currently we have 32 NGOs, right? So we are collaborating with them to promote safety and health at workplace, and we are actually encouraging their participations in promoting the OSH, as well as giving prestigious awards. Right? The prestigious award that we have right now, we have Malaysian Society of Occupational Safety and Health Awards, and then we have the MOSPA awards. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Rafi, for your presentation. Now I would like to open the floor for any comments or inputs from participants. If there is no additional comments or input from fellow participants, once again, I would like to express our gratitude. Thank you, Dr. Rafi, for your presentation once again. Now, we will move back to representative from Indonesia, Mr. Sudi Astono. So he will presenting on the national OSH profile and updates from Indonesia. So the floor is yours, sir. Mr. Sudi Astono, are you ready to present your presentation? It seems that maybe Mr. Sudi Astono is facing some technical glitch. Therefore, next we will move to presentation from Myanmar. I hope that our clip from Myanmar is ready to present, to give your presentation.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, now without further ado, I would like to invite representative from Myanmar delegates to present on the national OSH profile. The floor is yours, sir.
Hello, Mr. Chair. Can you see my screen?
Yes, can you make it full screen, please?
Yes, yes. It's okay, Mr. Chair.
Yes, now it's okay.
Yeah, thank you. All ASEAN member states, ASEAN Secretariat, ASEAN-OSHNET Secretariat. Good morning, Mingalawa. So I'm Director, Petition General Labor Law Inspection Department, Ministry of Labor. Now I'd like to present OSH program and OSH profile of Myanmar. So in this context, I'd like to present with 4 parts. Firstly, enforcement organization labor issue. The second one is overview of Myanmar OSH system. The third one is cooperative activity with ASEAN-OSHNET. And the last one is challenges and way forward. This part, I'd like to present informants organization on labor issue. In our ministry, there are 5 departments, including Minister Office, Department of Labor, Social Security Board, SSB, Petition General Labor Law Inspection Department, FGLLID, our department. The last one is Department of Labor Relations. One of these, our department, Factories and General Labor Law Special Department, FGLLID, is a focus department for the implementation of the occupational safety health measures. Now, I'll present overview of our system. In Factories and General Labor Law Special Department, there are two kinds of inspector, labor law inspector, and other is factory inspector. Labor law inspector inspect labor standard like working hours, salary, overtime, leave and holiday. And the factory inspector inspect safe and health of the workplace, investigating occupational injury, working environment measurement. Both inspectors make awareness within for labor. This slide shows our legalization on occupational safety act. There are 1951 Factories, Shops and Establishments Law 2016. The last one is Occupational Safety and Health Law 2019. In 1951 Factories, there are three parts for occupational safety and health. Health, safety and welfare is concerned with occupational safety and health and also enforced by 1951 Factories. For the factory inspector, there are three types of inspection like general visit, routine visit, and special visit. Inspection manufacturing sector, which was covered by the 1951 Factories. Also, we inspect shop and establishment for occupational safety and health with the Shop and Establishment Law 2016. Our department have plans the enterprise list and inspect them monthly. And then after inspection, we issue an improvement letter to better workplace to the employer. During our visit, we inspect general odds problem. If any need, we conduct a special visit. This slide shows the number of factories and shops and establishments which are inspected from January to October 2022. And also our factory inspector investigate occupational injury. Under 1951 Factories, an employer or manager must respond to inspector when an occupational injury occurs in their workplace. Then the factory inspector investigate the occurrence of occupational injury and issue an improvement letter not to be similar case. This slide shows the number of occupational accidents from January to October 2022. This slide shows the number of accidents by trade like manufacture of food and beverages, textile, wood and products, paper and paper products, and non-metallic mineral products, manufacture of basic metal, and manufacture of fabricated metal products, something like that. And also FGLLID conducts working environment measurements for better working conditions such as noise and light. Generally, our factory inspector measure monthly and conduct measurement by factory inspector is based on the data of the measurement. Inspector issue instruction to improve the employer. Actually, recently we conduct working environment measurement in 4 cities like Yangon, Lower Myanmar, Bagu, Lower Myanmar, Ayari, Lower Myanmar, and Mandalay City or Upper Myanmar. This is the number of working environment measurement factories in 2022. Totally 975 factories already measure for working environment. Currently, FGLID, Factories and General Labor Inspection Department, encouraged to the factory's owner to establish occupational safety health committee by voluntary system in order to develop our management system. To develop occupational safety and management system in the workplace to improve the cooperation between the employers and workers in occupational safety health activities of workplace. This slide shows the total number of factories which are already organized occupational safety health committee. And also both factory inspector and development inspector give awareness training to increase knowledge of employers and workers about legislative framework. This is the number of awareness raising training from January to October 2022. In terms of other activity, we already enacted occupational safety law on 15 March 2019. And also, we are drafting in fundamental regulation and also capacity enhancement activity for factory inspectors while participating in regional and international workshops. Now, I would like to present about cooperated with ASEAN-OSHNET. Myanmar hosts 23rd ASEAN-OSHNET Coordinating Board meeting, both awarding ceremony and 9th ASEAN-OSHNET conference virtually on 29 and 30 September 2022. And also FGLIDs participating in training workshop conducted under ASEAN-OSHNET work plan. This is record of the CBN 9 AOC and 4th awardee. And lastly, I'd like to present about challenges for way forward. In these challenges, we face some weakness of compliance on OSH provision, and also weakness of strong legislation to establish OSH management system, lack of occupational safety and regulation to power occupational safety health law, to issue relevant orders and instructions on occupational safety health, and also we have limited human resource and also limited infrastructure. In the last slide, I'd like to present about way forward. So we have to enact occupational safety and regulation to enforce occupational safety and law. Also, we have to conduct more capacity enhancement training for new factory inspector for human resource development. And also to develop strong organization and infrastructure to enforce occupational safety and health law and regulation. And also to cooperate with regional and international occupational safety health organization in all system enhancement. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kyoto, for your presentation. Now I would like to open the floor for any comments or questions from fellow participants. If there is no comment, so thank you once again to representative from Myanmar for your sharing on the national OSH profile of Myanmar. Next, we will listen next presenter from Indonesia, Mr. Sudi Astono. So I will share. Maybe my colleague can help with the screen sharing, Mr. Asnon.
Oke, Assalamualaikum. Selamat pagi Good morning, everybody.
Selamat pagi, Pak Sugi.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, and everybody. I have some trouble in connecting internet, so I need to have share screen, and this is Indonesian sharing about national occupational safety and health profile in Indonesia 2022. Next slide. The national OSH profile is a picture of condition of OSH nationally until 2021 in Indonesia, which contain consists resources available, authorities and parties at their role on OSH, a program that have been implemented already achieve result, limitation or barrier, challenges and opportunities, desired condition and effort to be implemented. And next slide, please. The national OSH profile is structured to comply with the mandate of presidential regulation number 34 of 2014 on ratification of ILO Convention number 187, and the OSH profile also input material in developing the OSH national strategy in the next slide, please. This national OSH profile serves to encourage the improvement of the role of various stakeholders or sector and the community through collaboration, coordination, and program synergy to accelerate the improvement of the performance of the national OSH program. So increasing awareness of the importance of OSH so that it became a necessity and culture, OSH culture for everyone in every work activity and other life activities. And to improving OSH program and maturity level of OSH culture. The implementation of OSH to increase contributing to economic growth, quality and sustainable of development progress toward Golden Indonesia in 2045. Next slide, please. The purpose, one is to provide document that represent the condition and development of OSH nationally and sectorally as important public information. This document is expected to be a reference in the implementation, development, and evaluation of OSH program at the national level, sectoral, and in the corporate level in order to improve the OSH culture in sustainable manner in Indonesia. Slide, please. This is a national OSH policy framework through implementation of OSH management system by regulation, government regulation number 60 2012. This is a national system on OSH management system or OSH management system, OSH MSIS. This will implementation in the many ministerial or sector. There are OSH management system in construction, in mining and gas, in transportation, hospital and health facility, OSH management system in office, also Indonesian sustainable palm oil in the agriculture minister, clean health, safety and environment in the tourism, and OSH management system in radiation and OSH management system in ship and port. The minister, there are many minister develop and implementation OSH management system by sectoral. Next slide, please. National OSH policy component, there are OSH cultivation, implementation of OSH management system, human resources on OSH, OSH institution, and OSH reporting and work accident statistic, labor inspection and OSH inspection and measurement. And also we have OSH program during the COVID-19 pandemic. Next slide, please. This is a picture about OSH institution. And there are OSH institution in the under Ministry of Labor. There are labor inspector and OSH examiner. And then in the other government institution, there are mining OSH inspector, OSH construction expert, and OSH occupational health assistant. Sorry, I mean this is human resource of OSH. In the company and private institution, there are OSH services company, OSH audit agency, OSH professional association. Also, OSH human resource in mechanical fluid, OSH human resource and occupational health and work environment also developed and established in Indonesia. Next slide, please. This is a national OSH program implementing in Indonesia. There are national OSH cultivation program, labor inspection and program, and OSH services, capacity building of human resource and institution of occupational safety and health, and sectoral of OSH program, national standardization of OSH, OSH award, OSH awarding, employment social security program, also very close related to the OSH program. Next slide, please. We have many professional association on OSH, and cooperation in one like confederation of national occupational safety and health professional Indonesia. We call INOSPRO, Indonesian Network Occupational Safety and Health Professional. Very many association professional according to the specialization, like OSH in ergonomic, in hospital, OSH in process safety, hygiene industry, industrial hygiene, in occupational health, and so on. Next, please. Next slide. This is also still a variant of occupational safety and health professional association in Indonesia. Next, please. Next slide. OSH award program, we have OSH management system award, zero accident award, HAV8 at work program award, COVID-19 at work program award. Next slide, please. This is a statistic about number of company who have achieved award about OSH management system award, also a zero accident award. Next slide, please. This is HAV8 program at work award, and then the last COVID-19 program at work award. Next, please. Statistic of occupational accident and disease. We have still limited data of occupational accident and disease. Especially, we have source data from National Social Security Program. We call BPJS Ketenagakerjaan. that have a member of worker about 30.6 million workers, maybe about 27.3% from 126.51 workers in Indonesia. But in the National Social Security Program system, there are eligible workers as a member about 19 million. So maybe the national coverage in the National Social Security Program achieved in 34%. Next slide, please. This is the data of occupational accident and disease in Indonesia, according to a program CKKP Ketenagakerjaan or National Security Program in the 2019 and 2002. There are increasing occupational accident and disease year by year, and so also the increasing in the funding in trillion Indonesian rupiah for compensation of accident and occupational disease in Indonesia. Next, please. This is still a low number of occupational disease. I mean, very little number of occupational disease can identify and then give compensation in the National Social Security. But in the COVID pandemic, there are very increased number of occupational disease. That's occupational disease almost from case of occupational disease by COVID-19 infection. Also, of course, in the health sector, like doctor, nurse, and analyst, and so on. Next, please. This is the big five sector. There are have many accident and occupational disease. The first is miscellaneous industries, the second trade and services, the second trade and services, and the third agriculture, fisheries, and plantation. The fourth consumer goods industry, and then basic and chemical industries. Next, please. This is number of occupational accident according to the locus occurrence. The almost of accident in the industrial accident or in the workplace, but also the second one in the traffic accident, and other also in the non-industrial accident, because the in the National Security Program, not only industrial accident give compensation, but not in the industrial accident, but also in the other locus in the area of transportation from the home to the office and vice versa. Next, please. This is a picture that occupational accident and disease dominated by young workers from 20 until 35 years old. Next slide, please. And then this is the fatality rate of occupational accident and disease in the program CKKBB Ketenagakerjaan in 19 to 2021. There are 30 million 0.66 number of member of workers in the National Social Security Program. Then the case still high and increase in year by year, and the fatality also still high. In the formula of fatality rate in 100 workers, there are still in the 2019 there are 13, and then in the 2020 11 fatal accident, and in the 2021 very high. There are 21 fatality in 100 workers. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is fatality, especially for accident in the industry, in the workplace. Fatality about 4.57, and then 4.72 in the 2021 very high 9.45. Next, please. The accident in the transportation, in the traffic, higher than in the fatality is higher in the traffic accident than in the industrial accident, maybe about 2 times the amount of the number of fatality rate. In the 2019 there are 10.552, and 2020 there are 13.39, and in the 2021 there are 20.07. Next slide, please. This is analysis of achievement. Indonesia maybe have better achievement in the leading indicator of OSH national program, like number of institution and human resource of OSH established, number of company getting OSH award, number of education institution have OSH program study, number of national standard and OSH national certification standard, OSH professional standard. But still poor achievement of outcome or lagging indicator of OSH national program, because we have still in condition of high of prevention rate and occasional accident and occasional disease, also increase of case of occasional accident, occasional disease year by year, and still in high fatality rate of occasional accident and occasional disease. Next slide, please. This is a national OSH program target that need to be formulated in Indonesia. One is the success target of the national OSH program need to be formulated as a reference for stakeholder in achieving more optimal success. The second one is indicator of achievement of the national OSH program. Should include leading indicator and lagging indicator, and then focus of OSH program is directed at reducing occasional accident and occasional disease in the frequency rate and also severity rate and fatality rate. Next slide, please. Some obstacle we find in Indonesia. There are lacking of understanding, commitment, and participation of various parties in the implementation of OSH. The implementation of OSH is still considered a high cost and is less realized as investment that has many benefit and is very profitable. The third, there are several OSH regulations that are not accordance with development and need in the field. And then the occasional accident and occasional disease reporting system are not easy to implement and have not been adapted to the digitalization era. And then law enforcement has not been optimal, and OSH has not been fully considered and included in the curricula, especially in primary and secondary education. Next slide, please. Thing to achieve, I think the first is increasing quantity and quality of OSH implementation in nationwide, and increasing of maturity level of OSH culture, and how to reduce case of occasional accident and occasional disease and other disease of workers to the lowest possible level. Next slide, please. And then the last is why forward. We still underdeveloped to national OSH strategy to achieve the target according to the problem and condition in picture of national OSH profile. Thank you very much for your attention and audition. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sudiarsono, for your presentation. There's one question from the chat box from Dr. Yuka Ujita. Do traffic accidents in your presentation mean occupational accident during commuting?
Yeah, Ms. Yurika, thank you for your question. Yes, you are right that traffic accident it means in the commuting of workers, not in the public traffic. Thank you very much.
Yeah, all right. Okay, any other questions or comments from fellow participants? Okay, if there is no more questions or comments from fellow participants, with that, thank you so much, Mr. Sudiarsono, for your presentation. Next, we'll move to our fourth presenter, which is from the Philippines. If you have your presentation ready.
Yes, Mr. Chair, can I share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay. Good morning, colleagues in the ASEAN-OSHNET, and we're here to present our updates on the national OSH profile. Can you all see my screen? You see my screen? It's okay.
Yes, from my side it's okay.
Okay. So let me go on. As we are updating our national OSH profile, of course, we take into consideration our present safety and health situation, then gaps that have been identified since the last national OSH profile was done, which ended in 2011, and now we're looking at the gaps from 2011 to 2018, but still, of course, considering as this is being written, the current situation, and that is, of course, the presence of COVID. We have also, we will, in the profile, our updates on the OSH-related policies as well as the way forward. We do have statistics and data on safety and health, and this is from our statistics authority, the Philippine Statistics Authority, who regularly conduct every 3 years a survey on safety and health. And in 2019, this is the last survey year for just before they will proceed to the next 3 year. We see that for occupational diseases, we have the work-related musculoskeletal disorders as being the first, followed by occupational dermatitis, asthma, infections, and going down the line, as you see in the list. This is putting it in a pie chart. And if you look at the diseases themselves as they are listed, you see that if you detail the work-related musculoskeletal disorders, you would have the frequent complaints of back pain and neck shoulder pain. And adding this up, this already goes to more than 50% of the diseases taken or gathered from this survey. Then, like I said, occupational dermatitis follows as the third. In terms of accidents, we see a decreasing trend, accidents and injuries, but we still note that it remains high. Again, this is from the survey done by the Philippine Statistics Authority, and we note the decreasing trend for both accidents and injuries. And if we look at the safety and health practices, again from the survey, we see that many of them are really in compliance with laws that are that require that these programs are implemented in workplaces. So you have all of this, especially the top 10 on the programs being implemented. But I would like you to note, and this is also where the Philippines would like to see, is that the program on ergonomics, we see we see the need for improving the program on ergonomics, because our top diseases from the survey were on work-related musculoskeletal disorders, and definitely a good program on ergonomics would mean responding to this problem. For the labor inspection, this is from, of course, the labor inspectors report nationwide, and this is looking at safety and health. And at on the initial inspection, and this is where because we now have a law on safety and health, we see that the compliance to this new law with the many requirements would not be that high. It's 54%, meaning 1 out of 2 would comply. But after the inspectors give notice, give the details on violation and how they can comply, it does increase after the correction to 67%, almost 70%. And we still are trying to improve, of course, our compliance to safety and health, because we do have a law. Now, from the inspection, we note that the top violations in 2021, because this is the labor inspection report last year, the top ones were lack of safety and health personnel. And here we see the inadequacy of first aiders, because we do have a rule on the number of first aiders that should be present, as well as the safety officers that should be present in companies. Then, of course, we also have certain regulations that are not complied with, and these are the fire safety inspection certificate, registration of establishments which are required by the DOLE, and the annual medical report form that should be submitted. And these are the top 5 violations noted. Now, when the NOSH profile was being studied and looking at the gaps from 2011 to 2018, they saw that there were certain gaps on laws and policies on safety and health, the OSH system, communicating safety and health, strengthening human capital, or of course, our human resource. And then also look that the major gaps are those in both OSH research, OSH at the level of undertaking, and developing safety and health in the public sector. For the safety and health data, these were also some. This is also one of the gaps identified. Now let me take you to this policy, which is a law. This is Republic Act. When we talk of a Republic Act, this is a law already signed by the president and should be complied with. And this is the strengthening of compliance with the safety and health standards with penalties. And these are all now part of the law. This carries the same weight as the Labor Code of the Philippines. Now, in this law, and we do have an implementing rules and regulations for this by the DOLE, which is DOLE DO 198. We have the laws strengthens, of course, hazard-based to risk-based assessment. We have now shifted and we're now focusing on risk assessment done by the safety officers to determine the level of risk and how they should comply with the requirements because of the level of risk. So those with high risk, depending on the work that is being done, because we're not saying now, it's not hazard-based because you are in manufacturing, but it is because of the risk that is present during or in the work that is being done. Then there are the requirements that are also required. It is rights-based because there are duties and rights of the workers, the employers, and other persons who visit any workplace. And to give you an example of significant rights-based here in the law is the limited workers' rights to stop work if there is imminent danger. It is now a right of the workers that they may not proceed with any work if they feel that there is an imminent danger to their life and their health in any work situation. There are penalties, and these are daily fines. It's more administrative. It's not criminal. There is no imprisonment here, but the penalties here are daily fines, and the daily fines are not small. If it would range from $2,000 US now depending on the rate, but it's like from the minimum of $2,000 all the way up to it's $200 all the way up to $2,000 US daily fine. But of course, this is only going to be applied if there is willful violation, meaning to say companies have been informed. They're also informed of how they can comply, but they still persist in violating the safety and health regulation. Then that is when the fines start being implemented. However, the difficulty here in this law is that because the jurisdiction is with the Labor Department, this is only for the private sector. But that doesn't mean to say nothing happened for the public sector, because following this, the Department of Health, the civil service, which is representing the government of the workplaces in government, the public sector, as well as the DOLE, they already issued the Joint Memorandum Circular Number 1, 2020, again, institutionalizing safety and health, meaning there should be the needed program. These are the policies. So if we talk of the policy in the law, the law already provides you with that strong policy of what should be implemented, the programs that should be implemented, the people that should be implementing this, the committees, the trainings, the awareness, all of this, the IEC, the advocacy, the rights of the workers, and now including penalties as well as networking and alliances that should happen to really and fully implement a good safety and health program. So if you see, we are not having a program per se because we have the law, and the law already talks of the program that enterprises should establish. That the programs for enterprises are not have so much details, and it takes into account what are the core indicators, the core requirements for good safety and health. And from that, we also have other regulatory agencies that continue to provide guidance on specific programs that should happen. Like we have now for energy, a safety and health for renewable energies. This is coming up. For mines, they already have that. So if you really talk of the big policy, it's there. For specific policies, it's also there in, and now they are in because these are mandates of government agencies as well. And for the programs, it is embedded in the policy and what the program should contain. The policies that have arisen, and this is because of COVID, is now like for this one is on telecommuting, but for telecommuting, okay, this was pre-COVID first. The Public Act was passed in 2018, so this is pre-COVID, but we already had issues on doing on-site work because of traffic, but COVID fast forwarded us to implementing work from home because that was a necessity in protecting ourselves against COVID. And a later issuance on the law on its IRR was issued just this year, which is DOLE Department Order 2022. And this looks at safety and health. For those who have to do work from home, their safety and health conditions as they are doing work from home. And we know that the safety and health of these workers doing work from home, work from other alternative work sites should also be guaranteed. Ventilation was another regulation policy guidance because of COVID, and this was an issuance Department Order 224/2021, and this is to prevent and control the spread of COVID. And this looks at providing good indoor air quality through, of course, providing more clean air and filtering out or if in enclosed spaces, what should be the needed measures so that there will be no recirculation of stagnant air or poor quality of air. And if there is any virus or any contaminant there, it will just go back to the people there. And that is why the department order on ventilation had to be issued because of the airborne transmission of COVID, which really needed to be addressed. And these are some of the examples of what they should be done. What should be done, this is in the vernacular for those in enclosed spaces without air conditioning. And yes, we are moving and looking at standards that have been there since the latest amendment was in 1989. And now this was a review that we have been doing for the past 2 years and looking into providing the necessary updates for the standards. This has already been done, and we are now ready to present this, of course, to the tripartite for approval. So for the coming years, we will continue to look into the research agenda. We will also be providing updated national profile. And we are looking at, of course, our work that is going to be aligned with the mandates of safety and health. We're also now looking at the platform economy, the safety and health manners or measures to look into the safety and health of those who are involved in with the digital platform economy. For example, the riders. So we understand that to look and to address safety and health problems, we are looking at data, seeing the gaps. We need the research to provide us with more information on how to best respond to these gaps. We continue to profile safety and health in priority sectors, and now we are also looking at vulnerable and underserved groups like the small, micro, and the informal sector work and the workers there, because definitely they are very vulnerable, but the response to their safety and health has to be in a different manner, because it is, the lack of resources and the other government agencies that have to be involved should also be considered. And definitely, we continue to look at data on the diseases and risk factors. And here we already started developing policies on mental health, on musculoskeletal orders, on work organization, and for the healthcare, because they, of course, are doing work related with COVID-19. So we continue again to do the updates of the profile, the research agenda, and now what are other strategic directions to stimulate research on safety and health. And here we are looking at collaborations with the private sector, with government sector, because they are now seeing the importance of safety and health, the lack of data that they also need to respond to improving workers' safety and health and their workplace conditions. So this is, again, how we are going to do this. We will continue social dialogue. We will continue talking with our partners, with the tripartite. And yes, for the DOLE, for the Department of Labor, it is really our ultimate goal to protect the workers. And definitely, as this is going to be done, economy and employment will be strengthened. I think this is my last slide. Okay, on other ways forward, policies and guidelines as needed will be issued. We will continue for safety and health center to capacitate our safety and health personnel and our stakeholders. Collaboration, a whole of society approach is definitely approach that we saw when COVID-19 came in, and we had to act we all had to act as one in controlling the disease, and we were able to we were able through many measures as a whole of government and whole of society to address COVID-19. And this is why, at least now, we are in this place where we're now going back to on-site work. Our economy is now again growing. And with all of this, we are considering safety and health in new forms of work, the digital platform, but we also have to address climate change, artificial intelligence, and all of this would have to go into standards, which we continue to do. So again, thank you. We hope we have provided you with our updates on the Philippines on our NOSH profile. Good noon. I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, thank you so much, Philippine, for your presentation. There's one question from the chat box from Brunei. To Philippines, do DOLE recognize or register safety consultant as well? What is the requirement for registration of safety consultant?
We have several levels of safety officers in the Philippines. If you know, those who just took the mandatory trainings, they're now called the safety officers. But if you have additional training, more training that is required, they can be accredited as a safety practitioner, because that would need another 48 hours advanced. For a consultant, you have the mandatory, and now you have, if I'm not mistaken, an 80 hours advanced training, and including a 5 years experience on safety and health. And that puts you into a level of a safety and health consultant, and you are accredited. You have an accreditation paper for that, because you will pass through an accreditation process. But for companies, you really do not require, what is required are safety officers who have just undergone the basic safety and health, the mandatory safety and health training.
All right, thank you for the question and response. Any other additional input or comments from fellow participants? If there's no more comments or input from fellow participants, with that, thank you so much for your presentation, Madam. Okay, next, we will go to the last but not least, our final presentation of this session. I would like to invite representative from Thailand to give the presentation on the national OSH profile.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Everyone can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me today. My name is Chamaipon Tepanuan. I'm a senior labor officer at OS Division. Today, I'm going to share with you occupational safety and health in Thailand, or OS profile. Let me share a slide. Okay, next, please. So, to summarize our ongoing OS profile, this slide will show you the overview of presentation in 5 topics. I will share about background information, following by our situation and statistics, including national policy and action plan for OS administration, as well as facilitate mechanism such as source law and standards and OS program. Next, please.
Excuse me, Ms. Chamaipon, could you please make it a full screen?
Oh, yeah. Wait for so technical in few minutes. Full screen or not?
Still not in full screen.
Still.มุมมองผู้นำเสนอไหม
Is it full screen right now?
Is it full screen right now?
Not yet. All right, now it's on full screen. Okay, right.
Thank you, and sorry for technical problem. So let's move on to the first topic, background information. As I mentioned before, the occupational safety and health in Thailand has been recognized in Thailand for over 50 years. Newly industrialized country, but the agricultural sector is still the foundation of the economy. So economic development has brought about the expansion of industrial growth and diversification. So workers are facing various forms of hazardous work conditions, emerging risks, and etc. Next. As of December 2021, approximately 11 million workers registered with the Social Security Office, Ministry of Labor. This slide shows current situation and statistics in last year, 2021. Overview of occupational accident classified by severity level as shown in the slide. And we have total cases of accident and injury about 78,245 cases. And we have cases leave work less than 3 days, about 53,750 or 68.69%. And leave from work more than 3 days, 23,087 cases or 29.51%. And we have loss of organ, 797 cases or 1.02%. And permanent disability, 9 cases or 0.01%. And fatality or death, 602 or 0.77%. This total accident and injury in last year, the compensation have paid compensate about 2,150 million baht approximately. Next. This slide will show the trend, the comparison and trend of the occupational accident and injury. The statistic indicate during 2017 to 2021 or 5 years back, number of injured workers has continually decreasing trend afterward. However, if you notice, the workmen compensation paid per case of occupational accident and injury has slightly increased. Next slide, please. For our administration, the Thai government recognized about labor are considered a main factor to promote the industrial growth, along with labor market, labor skill, and labor relation. And labor in all sectors shall be protected under the Thai labor standard, with special emphasis on us as well as employment conditions. So, the importance of our issue on Tuesday, 11 December 2007, the government cabinet has adopted the resolution in its national agenda, decent safety and health for workers, and provide direction together in national master plan, as you see in the slide. Next slide, please. For collaboration from all various sectors is considered necessary to achieve national OSH agenda with the objective to promoting the safety and health of our workers, to emphasizing prevention in order to minimize the risk of exposure to hazardous working conditions and occupational or work-related diseases, to creating the network and participation of activity under the civil state approach, and building up a culture of prevention on OSH, and developing the mechanism for the administration of OSH at all levels. Next slide, please. In Thailand, the second master plan was launched in 2016 and was effective for 2017 to 2021 with the mission of important strategy to build up preventive culture to promote safety and health of workers. At the end of this second plan period, the third national master plan have been drafted and in the process of approval by the government cabinet. After approved, this will be effective for the next 5 years. Next slide, please. Ministry of Labor, about OSH organization. Ministry of Labor is a governmental organization plays an important role on labor protection, including OSH issue, and the Department of Labor Protection and Welfare and Occupational Safety and Health Division as the main government authority to drive the national OSH agenda with the support the mission on OSH issue from Ministry of Public Health and Ministry of Industry. Next slide, please. The function And responsibility of our division is to set up and develop all standards to monitor employer, workers, and relevant parties to comply with all laws, issue permission, registration, and supervision standard of all services, to conduct all study, research, promotion, and development, develop and maintain the OSH information system, and promote and develop OSH network. Next slide, please. According to the OSH personnel, there are totally 500 OSH inspector under the OSH Act. Why we have safety officer and OSH committee as shown in the slide. Next, please. About the OSH law and regulation, a key mechanism of OSH implementation is law and regulation. So in Thailand, basically, we have Labor Protection Act and Occupational Safety, Health and Environment Act. Meanwhile, we use our standard developing labor management system based on international labor standard, including Thai industrial standard, to ensure a worker can work safely. Next slide, please. So let's move on to the OSH program. In Thailand, we call national OSH project like Safety Thailand. This big project is aimed to integrate collaboration to improve or strengthen the OSH performance of the country. On July 26, 2016, there have 6 ministers gathered together to sign the Memorandum of Understanding or MOU at the Government House. The 6 minister is Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Industry, Minister of Interior, Minister of Labor, Minister of Public Health, and Minister of Transport. Next, please. This Safety Thailand project has an policy to implementation measure by integrate work plans and activity within the framework of the National OSH Master Plan. In short-term action, we have emphasized on high-risk industry, intensive OSH inspection, and for long-term action, we have developing OSH administration to build up the culture of prevention at national level. And for other ministry and for related organization, which join the project later. So now, currently, we have the network of 10 platforms, and we are expanding the scope of work to local level. Next slide, please. Last but not least, in Thailand, we have national promotional OSH program. Basically, every year we will have a program on World Day on Safety and Health at Work. We celebrate in remembrance of National Safety at Work Memorial Day, and we have the contest of excellent award in all of the workplace, and we have campaign about zero accident campaign, and now we move to build up OSH in a school like a safety to school right now. This brings me to the last slide. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chamapon, for your presentation. So now I would like to open the floor for any questions or comments. If there is no more question or comment from fellow participants, with that, that's marked the end of our second session of the day. Thank you so much for the presenter, for your presentation. Presenter from Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, and Thailand. Thank you so much for your time to present during this session. Before we take a short break, I would like to inform you that in the chat box, there's a link for the feedback. This is for the purpose of our internal records, whereby we need to have feedback for our programs. So during the break time, it will be much appreciated if you can fill up this form. Okay, now is 12:35 Malaysia time, so we will take 10 minutes break. So we will continue again at 12:35 p.m. Malaysia time with the remarks from ASEAN Secretariat, and then we will have a closing after that. Okay, thank you and see you later. Welcome back, everyone. Okay, now we will start our third session of the day. Okay, in this session, we will listen or hear from our ASEAN Secretariat, some input from ASEAN Secretariat with regard of the current status and also the development of National OSH program and profile that have been presented by DMS just now during the second session. So without further ado, I would like to invite ASEAN Secretary Representative to give his input or comments.
Thank you very much, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Very good afternoon to all of you. My name is Notate Magea from the ASEAN Secretariat. On behalf of the ASEAN Secretariat, I would like to express our gratitude to the Department of Occupational Safety and Health Malaysia and OSHNET Secretariat for organizing the workshop. And of course, to all the participants and speakers who have shared knowledge and experiences. We are pleased to note the development of OSH programs and policies across IMS as shared this morning. And we are delighted to learn from the best practices shared by IMS from Malaysia, Myanmar, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Thailand. We see from all the presentation, there are many improvements from all the updates, and we can learn from many things from the regulatory frameworks and amendment of the law and all the programs. From Malaysia, we learned 3 programs, launched new occupational safety and health master plan 2021 to 2025, OSH Act amendment, and also promotion of OSH with NGOs and practitioners. And also we learn from, we highlight from all the countries presented this morning that there are many improvement in all the programs, and this is also many improvement in the future. And we highlight some challenges set by IMS this morning, like some weaknesses in compliance, and also gap in the regulations. And we learn from all this that we need the program in the future. And thank you for all the programs shared today. And we look forward to continuing cooperation of ASEAN-OSHNET in advancing the OSH policies and strategy to ensure protections of our workers. The ASEAN Secretariat stands ready to assist ASEAN-OSHNET in achieving this goal. By this, I would like to end as a comments on the development of national OSH profiles among AMS, and thank you very much again, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Mr. Notatama, for your valuable inputs. Next, without further ado, as we are now approaching towards the end of our program today, so as for closing remarks, I would like to invite the Honorable Engineer Technologist Dr. Majaha bin Abdul Rahman, Director, International Policy and Research Development Division, to deliver his remark.
Thank you, Mr. Hafizi. Delegates from ASEAN-OSHNET member states, delegate from ASEAN-OSHNET Secretariat, delegate from ASEAN Secretariat, delegates from +3 members, delegate from international partners, distinguished speakers, and fellow participants. Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon. Okay, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude to the organizing committee for inviting me to the closing ceremony of the integrated ASEAN-OSHNET program 2022 hosted by Malaysia. Even though we have only met virtually, it is such a great honor for Malaysia to host this training program. I also would like to express my gratitude to ASEAN-OSHNET Secretariat and ASEAN Secretariat for their continuous support and assistance. Without their assistance, this program would not become a reality today. And I believe that the participants have enjoyed this training and contribute actively during this program. Your knowledge and experience will certainly be a valuable input to our deliberation and will be shared among our colleges when you go back to your respective organization later. Ladies and gentlemen, our economy has grown over the past few years and remain an attractive business location with investment opportunities for multinational companies. ASEAN, for example, is the right track to be a region ripe with potential and prime for further economic growth. As ASEAN is moving toward ASEAN community in 2025, ASEAN envision as a work environment with enhanced competitiveness, productive employment, safe, harmonious, and progressive workplace with adequate social protection. Fundamentals to economic progress is having good occupational safety and health or standard and practices. Significant improvement in this area have been made across the region. For example, every country has put in place their national OSH framework. Ratification of OSH-related ILO conventions, such as Convention number 187 on Professional Framework for OSH and Convention number 155 on Occupational Safety and Health, are vital to ensure OSH standards in our region are at the highest level. This will significantly signify our continued commitments to good OSH standards. Indeed, our industry may be different, but we still share common OSH issue. It is crucial for us to do our very best to reduce the work-related accident and fatalities to ensure that good workplace health and safety practices are applied to all workers in the workplace, regardless of age and gender. As the authority, we must plan an appropriate strategy to address the range of OSH risks encountered in the workplace in order to prevent as far as reasonably possible accidents and diseases for all those who might be exposed to the hazards. We must also provide guidance on the roles of the employer, workers, and their organization in promoting OSH within this sector. I believe that from the topics that you have learned from this course will help you to develop feasible action plan to deal with this issue. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to dedicate my deep respects to all the participants for your positive and active participation in this program. As we all know that online training has its own challenge, such as a connection problem, focus, and no access to the in situ practices. Despite of that, you managed to stay with us until the end. I'm looking forward to having future collaboration with your esteemed agency in OSH. Perhaps we can share our experience in other topics of interest. If you need further inputs from us, please do not hesitate to contact us for coordination. Our training might be ends today, but don't forget that the learning will continue as long as we are breathing. As Steve Jobs once said, learn continually. There is always one more thing to learn. I hope that we can meet physically next year. I wish you all the very best and every success in your life. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Engineer Technologist Dr. Majaha, for your closing remark. Before we end our training program, so we will take one last photo shoot. So I would like to request all delegates, speakers, and fellow participants to turn your camera on for photography session, for photo shoot. All right, everyone's getting ready now. Okay, on my cue. Okay, smile everyone. 1, 2, 3. Right, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. With that, that's marked the end of our training session. Once again, I would like to express our gratitude on behalf of organizing committee to the speakers and delegates who have participated in our training session since yesterday and today. I hope that in the future we can meet again in another program. Hopefully next time it will be physical program. Thank you so much and have a good day ahead. Thank you and bye-bye.